When I think about the qualities that define Temple lawyers, impact is often the first word that comes to mind. Our graduates are well known for making an impact, changing a process or an outcome on behalf of a client, a group, or a community. Today's commencement speaker is a wonderful example. Kathleen Kane is a veteran prosecutor, a dedicated public servant, and as of last November, the very first woman elected to serve as Pennsylvania's Attorney General. She is a member of the Temple Law School class of 1993 and a Temple lawyer through and through. As we were walking in, I asked General Kane, which is what they call her when you call her office, whether when she was sitting here, she ever imagined that she would hold this post, and she said, absolutely not. And so I want, as you listen to her, I want all of you to be dreaming about what you might be doing 5, 10, or 20 years from now. As a Lackawanna County Assistant District Attorney, General Kane litigated hundreds of cases involving white-collar crime, public corruption, child abuse, sexual assault, and elder abuse over a 12-year time in the office. She was responsible for the prosecution of a corrupt orphans court judge and uncovered a scheme to deplete the estate assets of dozens of elderly victims. She worked directly with local communities to educate seniors and children on the warning signs of abuse. She stepped in on behalf of women and children who'd suffered physical and sexual abuse and made sure their abusers could not hurt them again. That's impact. As Attorney General, General Kane has brought her commitment to making an impact to the Commonwealth stage. She explained in a recent radio interview why she ran for Attorney General and what she hopes to accomplish while in office. What she said was something that I think we can all admire, regardless of our political persuasion. She said that she ran for Attorney General because she loves the law, and she has a passion for justice, for finding it and getting it for people every day. I think that passion for justice is at the heart of what it takes to make an impact, and that Attorney General Kane is a fabulous and inspiring example of what it means to be a Temple lawyer. We're certainly excited to call her one of our own and claim her proudly as one of our own. Please welcome this year's speaker, Attorney General of Pennsylvania, Kathleen Kane.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening and welcome. Good evening to the faculty that I have the pleasure of sitting in class with. Dean Epps was actually one of my professors 20-some years ago. Thank you for all of the parents, the friends and family for coming to support the graduates, because I know what it's like to sit out there. And thank you for the graduates. You are an inspiration to me, you are an inspiration to your family and friends, and you are an inspiration to this Commonwealth. We are bound together tonight not just by our mere presence. You and I are bound together by the past, the present, and the future. 20 years ago, in May, I was a graduate of the class of Temple of 1993. You are now the graduates of the class of 2013. We can learn from each other, and we can grow together, and we could build our futures together. I am very proud that 20 years later, I am standing here before you. But as Dean Epps said, never in my wildest dreams as I sat there did I think that I would be here tonight. In fact, you probably all received the email a couple of days ago that said, be prepared, let your family and friends know that your grades are just still coming in, and if we pull you out of the line, we don't want your family and friends to be alarmed. I was one of those students who was sweating it out back in the line and did in fact warn my family and friends that I had not been kidnapped. In fact, my grades had probably just come in. At the time when I attended Temple, I came literally with $100 in my bank account. I didn't know anyone. I had just found a place to live 2 weeks before. I had no idea what the future was going to hold for me. You know, you're not supposed to work your first year because it's a tremendous amount of pressure and stress. I had to work my first year. Needless to say, I did not understand the first year of law school. I didn't understand that what the mission of the school was not to tell us what to think, but to teach us how to think. For someone who moves at one speed, as my coworkers tell me, which is 90 miles an hour, for me that went way too slow. and I had a very difficult time dealing with it. So needless to say, after my first year of law school, I wanted to quit. I did. I loved the law. I loved the law since I was a little girl. I knew I always wanted to be a lawyer, but I didn't feel that law school was for me. But in typical Granahan fashion, I found it harder to quit and harder to go back and tell my family and proud friends that that's what I was doing. So I persevered throughout the next 2 years. And I will tell you, it was the best decision I ever made. The best decision. Like Dean Epps said, I became a lawyer because I love the law. I ran for Attorney General because I do believe in justice for all, for men, for women, for children, for older Pennsylvanians. I believe that justice means something, that no matter where you grow up, what kind of car your parents drive, what kind of school you went to, public or private, what neighborhood you grew up in, I believe that when we all step into that courtroom and we're looking for justice, we are all equal. And that is what we do as lawyers. Now, I have 10 minutes to let you know what has taken me 47 years to accumulate. So we are going to go, as I usually go, at 90 miles an hour, and we are going to get to work. Here's my message to you. When it comes time to take a stand, get on your feet and take a stand. Use your training as defenders of the law to ensure justice for others, to ensure the process of justice and the administration of the law, and then to enforce and protect the outcome. You are the defenders of the laws of this Commonwealth and of this nation. You must also put forth more than intellect in your training. You must use more than academics. You will need to draw more upon than your transcripts. You will have to muster the courage to step in when your natural inclination is to step away. You will have to put aside excuses of why you shouldn't take a stand. You're too busy with work. It's not a good time in your life. It's not good for your career. It's someone else's problem. And you must remind yourself of why you chose the law and of why Temple chose you. Remind yourself of the duty that we all share as citizens and the responsibility that we all possess as protectors of the law, and do just that. It is that simple. You have choices to make all throughout your career, big and small. You have choices to make in your life, and every choice counts, and every choice means something. We are the doctors who must go and save lives. We are the firefighters who are running into burning buildings as everyone else is running out. I, like Ben, like to look to songs for inspiration, and one of my favorite songster is a great American, I believe a great poet. He is the boss, Mr. Bruce Springsteen, and I think he says it best. We as lawyers are like soldiers on a winter's night with the vow to defend. No retreat and no surrender. Finally, you will have to sacrifice, sometimes yourself, sometimes your family, to fight for justice on behalf of either one other person or on behalf of millions of other people, as I have found. I ran for Attorney General because I saw a need for someone to take a stand on behalf of 12 million Pennsylvanians. It wasn't because I needed a job. It wasn't because I have political ambitions. It wasn't because I'm impressed by titles. I had a great title. I was a prosecutor, and I still have a great title, Mom, which is usually shouted at me in the most awkward of times. But the sacrifices of a political campaign of a candidate and her family are enormous. You take away time from your family. You miss football games. You miss family dinners. I missed kissing my sons goodnight. I missed seeing them in the morning. It's a financial drainage on our savings and the physical and emotional demands. But the rewards come in the form of a feeling of fulfillment, a feeling that even I, as somebody who's been through a political campaign, who was a trial lawyer, who's been through debates, through inaugural speech, through many press interviews, I cannot explain to you that feeling. I can only tell you that you will never regret your decision to reject neutrality, to march into battle for the sake of children or for our older citizens, or to lay down the law when others are throwing it into the wind. Do not allow discrimination, inequality, or violations of human rights. It is not acceptable. We must act in the Cromwellian tradition. We must give more than we take. We must remember that we are members of a society, of a community, of a state, and of a nation. We are, and tonight I am proud that you are joining me in this, we are Temple lawyers, and don't ever forget that. My final message will be a combination as that of a public servant, a lawyer, but mostly a mother. In her late 40s, who has seen horrific things, who has seen beautiful things, and who lives life like every day is her last. Because in reality, it just may be. But it's the melancholy nature of the Irish, of my Irish heritage, and the experiences of my past. But I want you to hear it. Number one, you should work hard and to the best of your abilities. But I want you to look up at the stands at all of the people who love you. Take a look at them. Go ahead. Look into their eyes. They count just as much as your job. They count just as much as your paycheck. They count just as much as your career and your ambitions. You can blend hard work and family and friends. You should. At the end of our time, we will be picturing the faces of those who love us and those that we love. Not the judge that we presented a stellar, intellectual, brilliant argument before. Number two, every action or inaction, every job or task, no matter how small or how big, it counts. Do not underestimate walking into court on a single case that maybe you didn't feel was important. Do not underestimate the way that you treat your client. Do not underestimate your public perception and your public appearance. They all come back to you tenfold. Do not underestimate the power of human relations. All that we do stays with us for the rest of our lives and for the rest of our careers. Number three, every person that you encounter matters. Treat everyone with respect and with compassion where necessary, and with the knowledge that how you treat others is a reflection on who you are, who this school is, and it will come back to reward you at some point in your life. You may have to wait a long time, but trust me, it comes back to you. And number four, you need to be yourself. Your passion, your drive, your determination will carry you further than your transcripts. Like I told you in the beginning, I did not set Temple Law School on fire with my transcripts. I did not. But my drive and my determination and my passion for justice has brought me here today. So like Dean Epp said, dream, and dream big, because there isn't anything that you can't accomplish. My father-in-law, Gene Kane, used to say, and this is important as lawyers because our reputation is everything and follows us everywhere. The only thing you have when you are born and when you die is your name. Protect your name. And finally, I want you to just go for it. I want you to step out there and go for the gusto. I want you to take chances. I want you to make changes when changes need to be made. I want you to face the challenges of life head on. I don't want you to be afraid. I don't want you to be timid. I don't want you to be neutral. I want you to just go for it. I want you to get out of your seats, and I want you to run full speed into the world. The world needs you. I want you to live your life, really live your life, and make every day count for something. I want you to go out and inspire the world like you have inspired your professors, like you have inspired me, like you have inspired your friends and family, because we will be watching. I will be watching. Your friends and family will be watching. The people of this great Commonwealth will be watching. and the world will be watching what you do. Make a difference. Make it count. Congratulations, and stay in touch with each other and with your school, because again, we are Temple lawyers. Congratulations.